Hello and welcome to Animated Anarchy, where we take a critical look at animated films, whether they be bad, whether they be good, or who knows what will happen here on the wonderful world of animated cartoons of featured-length proportions.
How... No. Just like the wonderful world of things that are great and wonderful, and this title is way too long.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of a good phrase at some point to kind of make an opening, but it just, I don't really know what to say.
Where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Oh, okay. Well, if I want to borrow from another phrase, I mean, I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
But hey, anyway, this is Andrew Dickman, and I am your host, along with my co-host,
Michael Ruocco, who you replaced after the first show. You're like, oh, this guy sucks. Big mistake.
Oh man, I wanted to break it down to you quietly, but contracts were around, and unfortunately,
no, it wasn't contracts. It was contact. You're like, I'm going to contact 2 more people. They're going to come take Michael away.
Well, no, what I meant to say is that you're contractually obligated.
This is a great start.
This
episode.
You're contractually obligated to be here and talk about animated movies with me. So, well, welcome back. How was your trip?
It was good. That's really it.
Is that really all you gotta say?
There's nothing to talk about.
Holy crap, man. I figured, like, you were having a ball, like, when you were 2 weeks out, but...
No, I was visiting family.
Oh, okay.
So
that's nothing special.
No balls were thrown.
No balls were thrown.
It's just like, hey, how's it going? Let's sit on
Not
the couch.
even the grand ball?
Not even the grand ball.
The grand ball. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's we had some good guests for the past couple weeks, but it's really great to have the original co-host here.
If only the audience could see my face. Just stop. Just me flattering my.
He's blushing, and oh my God, the radiance is just.
Yeah, turn off that light. It's right in my face.
It's just making it way too bright in here. So
all right, so let's
now that we're in the great darkness of this room, which we have watched our movie today, which was
a movie that I chose.
Yeah, the movie you chose.
Because I want to how should I say it?
We want to make some clarification.
I want to clarify something that I. But the movie is...
Okay, the movie is 2004's Disney's movie, Home on the Range.
Which at the time was considered up until Prince and the Frog, the last traditionally animated movie.
Traditionally animated movie. But yeah, Home on the Range. I remember seeing this in theaters myself because, I saw every animated movie when it came out, especially if it was a Disney animated movie. And I think by the time this came out, how many Pixar movies came out by this time?
Well, let's see.
Because the first Toy Story came out like in the late 90s, right?
Incredibles probably 2004, so what? Incredibles was that year, and then before that was Nemo.
Wow, really? Was it Incredibles?
Yeah.
Oh, that many Pixar movies came out by then?
It was Incredibles, Nemo, Toy Story 2, Monsters, Inc., Bugs Life, and Toy Story 1.
Well, you can see why probably with the sheer amount of Pixar movies that came out and the amount of quality that came out from them, you can see why they kind of overshadowed this little traditional movie that Disney was still kind of hanging on with, and
but it got. I mean, like it's funny because that was an era, like the early 2000s was an era where I think the last Disney movie I saw in theaters up to that point was Lilo and Stitch, which was like 2 years earlier.
Yeah,
and then I remember
what came after that.
Brother Bear, I think.
Brother Bear, that's right.
No, I'm sorry. It was either Brother Bear or Treasure Planet because they're both within the same year of each other. But I remember...
Did Treasure Planet... Yeah, I'm trying to think in my head. Did Treasure Planet come after Lilo and Stitch?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Because
then it was that progression. It was Lilo and Stitch, Treasure Planet, then Brother Bear, and then Home on the Range, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because that was an era where I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't go to the movies that much. I didn't go to the movies in general in that time period, but I remember not even knowing that Treasure Planet was out.
Yeah.
And then being interested in seeing Brother Bear, but I never actually saw it.
Yeah. I couldn't help but watch Treasure Planet because I was in college at the time, and there were a couple people who either knew people that worked on the production or did work at the production at some point. But I remember getting a lot of concept art from that movie, and everyone was talking about it. And I remember seeing it. I generally enjoyed it myself, but that's not what the movie is at hand.
Yeah.
But no, I remember seeing it in the movie, and I remember, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really nice for what it was. I wasn't blown away by it, but this was... Having known that this was the final traditional animated movie at Disney at the time was, like, first off, devastating to me because I love traditional hand-drawn animation. But secondly, I don't know. I felt... I really wanted to like this movie myself because knowing it was the last movie, traditionally animated, of course. And everything about it just, I loved the look and the style of it. The character designs were incredible. I love Western-themed stuff.
Yeah.
And especially when it's designed in this, we'll get into it, but it has like this style that is very, the Disney shorts like Casey Jones, Pecos Bill, Casey at the Bat.
To me, the movie combines that era of like mid to late 40s short film.
Yes, yeah.
Where these little self-enclosed little gems of little shorts.
Yeah.
Combined with that era of like
the amazing American tales of like American heroes.
Yeah. But then it combines the aesthetic of the 60s Xerox movie. So you get like this kind of nice mesh of that timeless 40s look.
It was a nice blend.
In the shell of this graphically enhanced, almost Ronald Searle-y era of when they did the Xerox movies, like Dalmatian, Sword in the Stone, etc. But the thing, my personal, and this is going to come back into how I feel about this movie, but I remember not seeing the movie in theaters. I remember I don't know what, it was just, I guess I just was, I'm not interested enough. And even though I knew it was the last Disney movie, I didn't go see it. Yeah. And then I remember getting it on video and watching it on video. Yeah. And I remember even then I had feelings of like, what is this movie? But the problem is, and this is when I enjoyed it, but there was a twinge of disappointment in it, not because if it was the last movie, but it was a feeling that I had that I didn't understand, and then I realized what it was later, which is that I had almost a bias, because I think everybody who's seen this movie, everybody who's seen this movie, or even if you say like, Home on the Range, everyone usually goes, oh, the cow movie, really? Right. But the problem is, it's that people automatically, I mean, even the reviews of the movie, we looked up the reviews for this movie.
They were harsh.
They're harsh because the thing is, everyone is, because it's even...
But it's really telling in what they said, right? Because they had that expectation. They kept on comparing this movie to things like Beauty and the Beast
and Lion King and Snow White.
Those are great theatrical movies. But to compare that with this movie, I think that's
comparing apples with oranges.
It's very unfair.
It is. I mean, like even Walt Disney, when he did like Pinocchio and movies after Snow White. He hated Snow White because everybody was comparing everything he did after Snow White to Snow White, which is an unfair comparison.
When a studio makes movies for so long, there is an expectation from the audience, where the bar is so high that you won't be able to always hit that mark because the audience expects another,
the marketing pushes it to make it seem like you have to see this movie. So like you get people saying, oh, Home on the Range, or like, oh, Brother Bear, or oh, this, because they're comparing it to these movies that have literally touched a generation, and it's not fair, because even any other studio, they have their giant epic major movies, and then they also make these small little charming self-enclosed little gems of the movie. And I think that this one has a bad rap for being this, like, almost like, oh, like they put it up on a list with things like Black Cauldron and things like that. But it's really it's an enjoyable movie. It's a beautiful movie, and it's a funny movie. Yeah. It's probably more in the same vein of something like, maybe like Emperor's New Groove than it would be, say, to Tarzan or
exactly.
Mulan or... or Lion King.
Yeah, there was even a comparison to Lilo and Stitch about this movie. It's like there was a lack of charm as to what Lilo and Stitch had.
They said originality.
Originality,
which
yeah.
is like,
I mean, maybe it's the fact that people think there is an overabundance of Western-styled themed work out there.
I don't know what it was that people just...
I don't know. I do know, probably... I do know that movies in general, live action and not, there is a large abundance of getting the Western themed movie back.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, like around what, the 30s, not the 30s, like I would say the Silver Age of movies, where they have the John Wayne and there was
mid to late 40s or 50s.
There was a huge abundance of Western themed movies, and I could see that getting like out of style after a while because there's just way too much of it. It's oversaturation. But when you have like a movie that comes in once in a while that is a Western and it has like a neat theme to it, like when I look at this movie, I think it's like, oh, hey, it's a Western cowboy movie, but it's focused on the cows.
Yeah.
And I would say that's original.
Yeah.
That's a good concept to go with. It's like, oh, hey, this is something someone has not focused on. Let's try to go ahead with that.
I mean, there is the basic kind of, not cliched, but there's the basic structure of characters having to go to get something or save something
and
before the time runs out.
Right.
Like there's that element, but they treat it in a very original way.
Yeah. They're faithful to the concepts of what makes a Western styled movie, because there are a lot of heavy themes in it where, you have the bounty hunter, you have the sheriff, you have the little county thing, you have like the country. Well, the thing is, like, there's a country singer in this as well, which I think is I don't think has really honestly been explored a whole lot in Western themed movies, especially a cowboy movie, unless you go to like a musical or something like that.
But I mean, it covers all the bases of like even like. You get the saloon brawl. You get like when people think of classic Western movies. It's more in a sense because there is a tongue-in-cheek element in here.
Yeah, but it's all about
it's more like Blazing Saddles than would be more like a John Wayne or classic Western chase movie.
And it's all about how it's presented. It's like it could be the same idea, but if it's presented in a different style, then that makes it original itself.
Yeah.
So you can take, like, I say this all the time, like, you can take an idea from something else, you just have to make it yours.
Yeah.
And that's really important with originality, because, like, nothing is completely original.
Yeah.
Nothing will ever completely be original, but you can make it original by making it something that is unique to what it is based off of. And that's what I feel about this. It's like it's taking something from, the Western theme and just going ahead with it and going a different route. Like, let's see it from the perspective of the animals from this era. Has there been a whole lot of exploration on that?
Yeah.
No, there really hasn't, especially in like animated features. And
there's great ideas in the movie, like little original ideas throughout the movie where you're like, oh, that's a really interesting but we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But I wanted to say that even in this movie, you could tell, because that era of Disney, that early 2000s era, that where everything kind of changed after that, all those movies had, it's you could pretty much almost see on the screen that there was a lot of pushback, like executive interference, or just like
most likely
a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, because I do see a lot of cliches at the time, like I remember one thing being a really big bother to me, and especially when I was like watching the trailers of this movie, is that they were focusing a lot on the body humor,
the burps.
Yeah, the burps.
I remember seeing a trailer where it was just, I think it just burped for 30 seconds, and then it said "Home on the Range, coming April," and I remember being like, "What?
That was
burping cows."
To me, and I know to a lot of people at the time, that was like a big pet peeve. It's like, oh god, it's such a childish movie that it has to resort to farting and burping.
Yeah.
And while it's like I don't really care about that anymore. It's like characters can burp and fart as much as they want as long as there's like structure to it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And there's very little.
No, there is very
burping,
little.
and I think there's
a
short scene of burping in the beginning, and then a scene at the end, and then. I mean, it's also the marketing.
There wasn't a huge focus on it. That's all I'm saying. But when you see the trailers and that's what you see, you think, oh God, that's
like,
that's what they focus on.
Yeah, people probably were like, "Do you want to go see the burping cow movie?" I don't know. I don't think I could stand 65 minutes.
Oh my God,
cows burping.
Oh, when that just reminds me of when the cows are grazing in the grass and baby, it's a gas. Can you dig it? No, I mean, but anyway, no. When they're sorry, when they're chewing on like the hay, and then one of the cows like blows a bubble out of the hay, like she blows a hay bubble and it pops and you see like the hay like.
I don't know if it's a spit bubble. Is it like
hay
gum?
I thought it was hilarious.
It's
honestly.
Funny. Like I don't understand. Like I guess they're chewing like cud and it's it makes sure I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not like gum.
It's just like it's one of those little gags that is just like that doesn't make sense, but it's really funny.
Yeah.
You know.
And there's funny little moments, like little actions, or little gestures, or little just character interact, which I love about this movie. Is that there's a lot of really great little character moments. Even even a character that's literally appearing for, like those vultures. There's a scene with vultures in the movie, and I want to see more of those vultures in the movie. Like I'm like, oh, those are charming, and like even like there's like characters in the town that you see for 2 seconds. There's like a sling blade ox.
Yeah.
And you're just like, like, who is that? I want to know more about him. I want to know more. The one character I want to know a lot about, and I said it when we watched it, that duck.
The duck.
With doing the Elaine dance
from Seinfeld.
Which is like, it's a funny, like, you see, and even everyone else is looking at him like, what the... What? But it's a great little moment, but that duck is really
That's a dated reference, but honestly, it doesn't, like, deter from it.
But, like, a kid who has never seen Seinfeld will still think
we recognize it because we know, oh, hey, that's the Elaine dance from Seinfeld. But still, it looks really funny on its own.
But
that duck is really cool, actually. Yeah. I liked how the beak was animated. They didn't go with the whole, like, Donald route.
It wasn't... It was a graphic, and it's another thing about this movie. The overall design of the movie, like we said, it has that charm of the 40s era Disney shorts, but it also has the charm of the 60s Disney, the Xerox era Disney, the more graphic movies.
Yeah.
And
it's very flat. All the characters look like they're paper cutouts.
Yeah,
almost.
but the thing I loved about it is that usually even in like a movie like even Beauty and the Beast, you get these really solidly, wonderfully designed characters. Then you see even like the people in the town, you're like no-name blonde-faced guy, and he's just kind of bland, and even the background animals, the background people in the town, the people in the bar.
There was a lot of care in like all of those little details.
I wish that's like there's so many art books. There's no art book for this movie, and it's such a shame because I would have loved to have seen this movie.
It's so funny that you bring it up because I remember when this movie came out, I did want to get the art book because I was at the time where...
Is there an art book for this?
There is like one book that I remember coming out for this, and it's like one of those very thin hardcover books that just has like a few slim details about it. I almost want to say it was a DK book. Like it was like one of those very small DK books.
Yeah.
But they had like little blurbs of each character, like, you know, they gave each character its due, and they had like one little sketch of like a concept sketch from whatever they got from. But that was it. That was really it. They didn't have any sort of background material for the development of this movie. It was just kind of like it came and went, and I feel like I almost feel like maybe there was some sort of expectation that they knew this wasn't going to do well, but it certainly doesn't show that.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's certainly, I'm not going to say at all that this movie was, you know, lazy or it was that they just didn't care and they just like left it alone.
There's obvious care put in this movie.
There is so much care. You can see it in the animation, how vibrant and colorful everything is. The backgrounds, as simple as they are, look gorgeous.
Wonderful color.
I love the simplicity in them and how painterly they are, and just the colors used just are blended so well together. There was a lot of care in this movie.
Yeah.
I will go against anyone who will say that this movie is lazy
because
just on the basis that they think this was the last traditional movie that Disney made and they just gave up. No, they did not give up. I think maybe the executives gave up on it because they already knew, it's like, okay, CG is going to be the way to go. We got to get rid of traditional animation. Let's just make the most of it and get whatever we can out of it.
But like we discussed before, people had an expectation.
Yeah,
they had an expectation of this being like, because you're like, everyone's like, this is the studio that made Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid and Aladdin, and they're making this weird talking cow movie.
It's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon. It's a beautifully handcrafted cartoon.
Yeah,
and feature length cartoon.
Yeah,
and I want to bring up this subject. When you watch this movie, do you see elements of Tex Avery in this?
I do.
Yeah. That is what I love about it the most, because when you see like those old, droopy cartoons with the cowboys and everything, that's what it reminds me of.
Like an Ed Benedict, like that the 50s design era.
Certainly. Yeah.
Like you look at early Hanna-Barbera design, you see these very graphic. Imagine combining the dimensionality of Disney with that graphic Flintstone look. Like
yes,
that's
I
great.
Love
like
that.
There's a short that I loved as a kid called Pigs is Pigs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this wonderfully designed graphic. Have you ever seen it?
Oh, is that the one with like it's the guinea pigs?
The guinea pigs, and they expand.
Yeah, I remember
like those
that
designs of like the guy who works at the train station.
It's very simplistic, but it has very fluid animation to it.
Yeah,
still.
so you get it like a taste of that in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You get that kind of feeling from it, and it's like we're watching it again because I haven't seen it in a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it again, it's a very good, decent movie.
Well animated.
Like I wasn't
well animated.
I wasn't like sighing, waiting for the movie to be over. Like people were just because that's what people expect when you're like, oh, that cow movie.
Yeah.
People are expecting to be like a little baby movie, like going to see like a Care Bears movie or something.
Yeah, no, it's not even that. I mean, there is like a very general audience feel to it, but still, I still think it has that sophistication where it's like, this is a story where it's like they knew what they were going to go with, and then they were just going to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of like very subtle jokes in between every now and then. Also, but I will say that there are a lot of puns that just kind of like go over your head, like, that's.
But I mean, like, not everyone is a winner.
No, it's not going to be a winner, but it's one of those things where it's like it's a pun, but it's not one of those puns where it's like, oh, they wink and nudge, like and audience reaction is the humor of it.
Yeah,
it just kind of goes by, let's make a joke about that.
And then it just the movie kind of continues after the pun.
But there are some very funny jokes that are puns or more to like more observational humor, like the whole udder thing is like, yeah, they're real. Yeah. Stop staring. It's like, that's actually pretty funny.
Yeah. And it's a joke that the parents who go to the movie with their kids will enjoy. Yeah. Which I think is the best. That's how you should make a movie.
It's a balance.
I mean, Disney, classic Disney, it's in the vein of a classic Disney movie in the sense that you're not aiming for a demographic of people.
No.
You're not aiming for specifically 8-year-old boys between the ages of 8 and 12, or girls between the ages of 7 and 13, or adults, or children, or old people, or people in this range. You're shooting out in all directions, and there's something that everybody, whether you're old, young, boy, girl, whoever, will latch onto and take away from you.
It can be generally enjoyed.
Yeah, my favorite pun in the movie is Stallion of the Cimarron.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is like
when did that movie come out compared to this? What do you?
It's before.
It was before, right?
Because they were still doing the traditional movies up until I think like 2003. So this was right. This movie came out afterwards. within 2 or 3 years of Stallion of the Cimarron.
Stallion of the Cimarron,
which was like you watch it and you're like, yeah, that was pretty good. You're like, oh, you could tell that there's some people at Disney like, should we say this? And they're like, Yeah, let's just do it. And that's
I
great.
think it's because it's like, DreamWorks was giving jabs at Disney as well.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so
you look at
they were
Shrek.
really obvious about it.
Yeah, I mean, look at Shrek. It's like literally every 2 seconds, you're literally someone taking a baseball bat to Disney's ankles and their knees.
But it's like, and this was their retaliation. So it's like, just
a little,
just have a little fun. Let's poke them back.
But before we go any further, because we've been talking about this movie, but we haven't actually talked about.
Yeah, let's go ahead with the story
synopsis of the movie.
Yeah, okay. So we start off the movie. It's branded the Walt Disney
branded.
logo, which is
I love
fun.
when they do.
They
logo.
did that for a while. I remember the Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, they
one.
get beamed up and stuff.
Yeah, and they have like the little blip. Going over.
I love how we like. Let's talk about the movie. That and then we have to stop. Like, listen, that branding.
I don't know why, but it's stuff like that. It's just really fun to me because it's like they're really trying to hammer in the theme of the movie. In which, like, you'll see the logo, and
the music starts up, and you're like, okay, I know what I'm getting into. I'm getting into a cowboy movie. You get the branding, you get the cowboy.
The opening music is like the cowboy, like, come to the land down under, or down under. Yes, let's come to the
land down under. Wrong movie. That's the trailer for Nemo.
Yeah. No, it's like come to the land of thunder something.
But it starts with like those violins, like you hear that in the beginning, like
yeah,
like
very country.
It gets you right in the mood, in the beginning of the movie, and then you get that great
the cows, like it's the herding of the cows. It's like it's opening up. It's like, okay, there are cowboys. We're in the world of cowboys and the Western theme. Here are the cows.
Yeah,
and that's really what it's all about. Cowboys.
The song is really short. It's like maybe like 30 seconds long.
And we have like the rabbit
Lucky
Jack,
who's a great character, but we'll talk more about him later.
I wish he was in this more, but he's like, we have that the rabbit there, and he's they show the jokes and everything, and they continue on, and we go to this narration, unfortunately, by the main cow, who is Maggie.
Voiced by Roseanne Barr.
Voiced by Roseanne Barr. And honestly, I'm going to say this, as much as I love this movie, Roseanne is probably the weakest portion of I feel like it. I mean, no, she has her moments, but I really don't feel like she has that sort of acting ability to sound like she really cares.
You mean in her delivery?
Her delivery is very weak. And I think that a lot of lines just kind of fall flat because of that.
Well, I mean, you look at... I mean, for me, I can see why, and I kind of agree. But for me, I don't know. I just feel like...
But it is fitting.
It's fitting.
She is very fitting.
Yeah, and it's the cow, in the context of everything going around her, seems very self-aware, which is like she's a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
So you have a cow that's a show cow.
And she's very, pompous and kind of... she's a show cow.
She's a show cow. She's showing off, But it's, I could see why, because that was a lot of people complained about Roseanne Barr in this movie.
Yeah.
But, I mean, a lot of people complain about Roseanne Barr and anything.
Right. But also... Okay, so we're beginning this movie, and she's narrating basically what is happening, and it's like, this is me. I remember you telling me there was this one thing where you wanted to do a compilation of...
someone already did make a compilation.
Oh, someone already did?
Yeah, I was saying that someone made a compilation of This Is Me.
Oh, wait, right. You were showing me that.
Yeah.
I completely forgot. I thought it was something else. But, there's this video out there that basically has all of these introductions of a movie that start off with, "This is me.
Yeah.
I am a cow." And
or it's like, they do the thing where it's like, I'm going through an existential crisis, but oh, by the way, I'm a rat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's me. I'm not the human. I'm the one. I'm the dog or whatever. They do that sort of thing, but they do it here.
And there's movies that do that well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. It's like that's done and gone. The narration part of the beginning of this movie, and I know that it's done really well in other movies. This one, it's just like later on, there are elements of the story that actually will tell you yourself, the audience, what's going on, and it's almost like repeating the narration from before. So I feel like the whole narration in the beginning is kind of unnecessary.
Well, I mean, I guess I could see what
Or
you
they
mean,
could have
because-
done it silently. They could have showed, like, you know, here's the farm, and then all of a sudden a shadow looms over, and there's nothing there. And you see the peril of this this cowboy, this rancher, who basically has lost everything except for his prize cow. And now he has to basically go off and sell the cow. And you could do that basically with just a few lines.
Personally, I'm fine. I like that idea, but if in the case of this movie, if they did do anything, if they had to just cut anything, just cut the scene, the quick scenes of Slim doing all that stuff. Just you can have, you know, Maggie saying, I used to have a home on the range, but now, and then you go off, and then she goes, and you see her walk up to this farm.
Yeah.
And then you cut to the farm, and we have that scene where you say, oh, what a wonderful place this farm is, because that's what you're establishing, is that this is a great place, and everybody's happy, everything's green, they're growing stuff, there's animals, and then she comes in to this place, because she's like, I have a home now, and then you follow her into this farm.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in the movie. They didn't
It didn't need that establishment before. You could have established that later on.
Yeah, she didn't have to say anything about Alameda Slim at the beginning of the movie.
No.
It was unnecessary, but I mean, it's in the movie. It's, you know, I don't know.
It is in the movie, but it's not really necessary, and I feel it would have helped it a little bit, especially since it's the beginning of the movie.
It might have flowed better because you're right into this.
Oh, certainly.
You're right into this movie, and then you're saying, oh, I'm a cow, by the way, Alameda Slim, boom, boom, boom.
However,
crazy stuff, lightning, laughing, and then cut back to Maggie about to go into the farm. They don't need that moment where you cut away and see all that stuff of the ranch and everything.
However, despite that, the rest of the movie flows
very well.
Very well. And I honestly will not... That is, like, honestly my only criticism.
And it's the slimmest of pickings.
It really is.
There's really not much, there's nothing really wrong with this. I mean, like, we're going to keep saying that throughout this whole thing, but there's nothing really wrong.
There's nothing wrong.
anything that people don't like is just a taste thing, like a subjective
I
thing.
would say that, yeah.
Yeah, but so we follow Maggie into the farm.
We follow Maggie, and now she's being sold to a new farm because the rancher has nothing left, and he just wanted to give her a good home. And this is where you get to see the human characters interacting, and they're, like, very wonderfully caricaturized. And I honestly, I would love it if I saw an entire movie with those kind of character designs, and just because it reminds me so much of, like, classic Tex Avery, sort of Looney Tunes-esque, very early Disney shorts. The theatrical shorts with Pecos Bill and everything. I love those. I love that style.
And it's great
and looking at them, it's just wonderful.
And the whole movie is a tribute to that.
Yeah.
Throughout, just different places.
And the interactions with them is very well. You know, it's very well. I can't really say anything else other than that I really love the animation.
It's solid, yeah.
Very solid.
But yeah, so we get to this farm and we are introduced to the stable of characters.
Yeah, all the little the stable.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to say that. But,
the funny farm.
The funny farm.
Yes, and they have, like, you know, the chickens and the pigs, and it's a very cute little song in between it. You know, it's like little patch of heaven way out west.
I think, and I'm gonna say, I should say this later, but I will say, if there's anything that I personally like, they fit the movie. It works for me. The songs aren't very memorable.
No, they're not very.
They're not very
memorable,
and I don't really. I mean, I think the only song I could really be like, oh, I like that song. I like the Yodel song.
Yeah.
Coming up later. Well, we'll talk about that when we get to it. But I mean, like, just because now that we're talking about this song, because it's a great.
This movie isn't really a musical, but it does have songs in it, and they're very fitting. I don't really have anything bad to say about them, because they're very fitting to the theme, and
it's not a musical.
Really, no.
So
no. I think the only musical part would be the yodeling song and up next, but it's actually very fitting to the character. But we'll get to that. So we're introduced to the two other cows that actually live on this farm, who are Miss Calloway and
Grace.
Oh, Grace. And there are two cows. One's voiced by Judi Dench, who's Miss Calloway, and Jennifer Tilly, who's Grace.
Yeah.
And they're I like these the voices really fit the characters.
Yeah.
Like,
you get this
Judi Dench is very pronounced, especially with the kind of acting that was given to her.
She's like a classic British actress. So you get that, and then you have a very naive, almost childlike Jennifer Tilly, who sounds her voice you just hear innocence coming out of that voice, or just something
very scatterbrained.
Scatterbrained, but something right under the surface that there could be something there. Yeah. And then, but I mean, the trifecta of those those cows, you get the brash Roseanne cow, you get the very staid, stoic Judi Dench
trio.
Cow. It's a good trio. You get the very good balance. Each cow has their own unique personality, and they really do. There's great chemistry between all the cows together.
Yeah, the cows are like the head of the farm, basically.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of like, everything else kind of revolves around there. So there's a duck, there's some chickens,
there's Jeb the goat.
Jeb the goat
great.
was funny. Yeah, no, he's one of the best characters. He's like aside from the duck.
He's a scene stealer. Yeah. In this movie too,
and it's good because they use him quite a bit.
Yeah,
and he's basically the
grumpy old coot.
Yeah, who always like announces the bad news and everything. It's like,
this is official. We're all gonna get eaten. Or like, that's the end of and he makes wisecracks, and he's just a cranky old man goat.
Yeah, so we're just introduced to these characters. They don't really hit it off at first. Maggie's very brash and abrasive and burps, which you were telling me Roseanne did her own burps.
Yeah,
which they're powerful. Really powerful.
I think some of them might be electronically enhanced.
You think so? Okay,
but those are some pretty.
Because I was gonna say they were like on the level of what's his name
Maurice LaMarche.
Maurice LaMarche, yes.
Those throaty burps.
But he can like hold it. It's like it is very. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, interesting little anecdote about Roseanne.
So anyway, they're basically halted by the fact that the farm is going to have to be foreclosed on because the whole place is bankrupt. She hasn't made any of her bills because of a weak harvest or something, and it's probably like in the grand scheme of things, something is wrong with the entire West. Everything, all the cows are leaving. No one has any money, and no one can really do anything. So the sheriff basically comes up and says, like, with this horse. The horse is
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah, Cuba Gooding Jr., who is Buck, the horse. And this is the sheriff's horse, who's basically way too energetic and wants to be like a hero of some sort.
He's
also brash, but he's more of a jerk kind of.
Yeah, he's macho. He kind of like, you see it where anytime you see him in the beginning of the movie when he's being ridden by the sheriff, you're just bored. His life is boring. He wants to get and be, like with real cowboys out and getting banditos,
and he's stuck with this sheriff.
He's stuck with
this old sheriff that's like
and he's just playing all day.
But anyway,
with this old dog.
Yeah. So anyway, that the sheriff is basically breaking the bad news that the ranch has to be auctioned off, and she shoos him away in very, very classic Western fashion. It's like, go on, I don't want you. Yeah. I love that. It's very charming.
Yeah.
It's like every single element of this movie has like its own charm and it's cuteness too.
Yeah.
those chicks. The little chickens.
The little chickens. Every time they come up on screen, because you know that those are supposed to be the little cute little.
Yeah.
Like
it's supposed to be like no, not the chickens.
Yeah. If they marketed this movie if they marketed it more or made a real push for this movie, that would have been like the equivalent of their little yellow minions.
Oh yeah.
You're just like, the baby chick.
It's really
Everyone
funny.
Wants to take a baby chick home.
It's really funny. It was brought to my attention here. Speaking of yellow, there's a lot of characters that are really, really popular and that just hit it off, that are the color yellow.
I think it's yellow. I don't know. It's maybe a psychological thing.
I don't know. Maybe it is.
The Minions, Tweety Bird.
Tweety, SpongeBob, The Simpsons. What else? But yeah, it's like the color yellow seems to hit it off. And I don't know if that's a coincidence or if it's like some sort of secret marketing gimmick.
Note to self, design all yellow characters.
Yes, exactly. So we're giving you the scoop right now. If you want to design a character and hit it off, make it yellow.
Make it yellow.
Paint it yellow, paint it yellow.
They call me Mellow Yellow. Anyway, but so you get So anyway, yeah, the farm. She got an eviction notice, and now the cows decide. Maggie's like, I got an idea. We should go.
We should all be like show cows
and earn some money at the fair. So they all go.
That's the first idea. So they basically go out to the town, which is probably the best part.
It's called Chugwater.
Yeah, Chugwater.
Which is a great... It sounds very Western. Town Chugwater.
Yeah. Which is, honestly, I think one of the best parts in this movie, just because it has so many elements to it.
You almost want to be in the town just a little longer.
Yeah.
Because it's a nice little, And
it has, like, all the characters in there. They go into the saloon, which is owned by, like, the main wench there that... and...
Oh, there's a great joke.
So they go backstage because they see a star. They think it's the sheriff's office because they're scared of all the town folk, and they break in and they're basically on stage, and there's these like three very homely looking women on stage, like singing their little bar tunes, and they. It's funny because like they mirror the cows, and it's like they even do that. They have them all like facing each other, and then they start fighting, and then it starts a bar fight, which like wakes up the rest of the saloon. It's just like, oh man, this is awesome, and then
it's just a boring show, and then now that there's a big brawl going on, everyone's like, yeehaw! Like the old prospectors like hooting and hollering.
Oh yeah, and one of the dancers like smashes into
a big guy,
one of the guys on the bar, and he doesn't have the wig on. It's like, Daddy,
son. We were just like, what happens after that fight?
That was awkward.
There's an awkward talk.
Oh my god,
son, I've been leading a secret life. It's just
that's a hilarious joke,
and it goes really quickly, and then it's gone. And you're like, what?
But that whole scene is great. It's like one of the guys like falls onto the tables, and they start punching him just because they're so happy that they're fighting.
One of my favorites is just that a guy like gets hit in the face, and he's like, now see here, and then a guy just slides into frame, and then just an arm just almost comes out. It's just a still image, and then just a big paw. You have
this must have been one of the most favorite for the animators, just because they had so many fun gags in it.
Someone's probably like,
in such a short amount of time too. It goes by in a flash, but it's hilarious. And okay, so
bar fight
happens. And they finally meet the sheriff, and they meet up with the horse, and the horse is basically belittling them, and is like, haha, your ranch is going,
and they say like, we're gonna go to the county fair. It's like, oh, a county fair, you're only gonna win like $60. You need $750. And they're like, well, and then they see a wanted poster for
first the bounty hunter comes in. Rico. Rico comes in, and this is when Buck, the horse, is like really excited because this is his hero.
If there was any person he'd want to be a horse for, it would be Rico.
It would be Rico.
And he comes to the town. And he's like a force of nature. He comes in on a cloud. The sky darkens.
The lightning strikes.
Very Zorro-esque. Just kind of.
He stops a fly and quiets it. It's like, sorry. And like, lets it go. And so he basically comes in to the sheriff and says like, give me my money, Sheriff. Who's next? Only one is Alameda Slim. And that is basically what hits the whole thing, because it's like the reward for him is $750.
Which is exactly what they need.
Which is exactly what they need. So that hits the nail on the head right there.
Yeah.
And so basically the cows... Maggie's next clue to what to do is let's catch Alameda Slim and bring him back for the bounty. That'll solve our problems. And of course the horse laughs, and it's funny. Okay, Rico says like he needs a new horse, and basically, Buck like makes a big scene out of himself and becomes his horse now, and now he's like really excited. And here is where Cuba Gooding Jr. is, I think, fantastic for this horse.
Were just like, I'm in Rico's saddle. Yeah, like he does it like 2 or 3 times in the movie where he's just like he just makes a little.
Yeah,
like, he's so happy that he squeals.
I know, those are like really funny moments, especially because it looks so funny. Like they hold on that face, and the drawing is just amazing. I don't know why there aren't any screen grabs of this anywhere. It's like
because people don't.
No, I understand that, but seriously, those are hilarious moments. Just seeing that. So anyway. So Buck is now with Rico,
horse.
And now the cows
They follow a chuck wagon.
They follow a chuck wagon. Oh, actually they're forced onto the chuck wagon because the sheriff thinks that this is his.
It's like this.
It's like a Chinese settler, you know, and that's also a hilarious moment because he's like, wow, free cows, what a country, and just like goes on with it.
And it's established before and it's great because it's good story just to say like, oh, the Grace, Jennifer Tilly's character, is tone deaf. She can't sing. So earlier she's annoying because she sings badly, and then they're on this cattle drive or this chuck wagon going towards this large cattle drive, and her singing is really bad. And
basically means that she's tone deaf and does not know how to sing. Or knows what good singing is. Right. I guess. But they pass by this cattle ranch it's nighttime now, and this is where we get introduced to Alameda Slim and his and the Willies. And the three Willies.
The Randy Quaid is Slim. He's not doing his own yodeling. It's probably a professional yodeler.
Right.
And then you have
Randy Quaid is really good in this too. I like it really fits the character, and I do love this villain.
He's got this bravado in him.
Yeah,
I love his shape. He's a
giant man
with these little tiny legs on the bottom. Yeah. He's like a giant buff Yosemite Sam.
Right.
He's just this giant upside down teardrop shape.
Yeah, and he just has like that really great scowl on his face.
Yeah, really with the teeth and gnarly.
And so basically we find out at this point it's like they rustle up the cowboys that own the cattle, and the way he gets the cattle is by yodeling. He has like this hypnotic,
this Pied Piper-esque,
and it's all set into this like musical where he starts singing. It's like, I just want it. It's like you think of this guy at first as like he's very intimidating, and you don't know how he does anything, but then it looks like he's gonna shoot the cow. But then it turns into like a
rhinestone covered guitar.
Yeah.
Like a rhinestone
And then
cowboy.
he starts yodeling, and all the cows are like hypnotized by it, and they all follow him. And that's a great scene. I think it was really fun.
And they have these cows, and it's very, very much in the vein of, say, like Pink Elephants on Parade or Heffalumps.
That's what I was going to say.
It's very psychedelic looking. The cows change
really
color.
Colorful.
And even the backgrounds, like they flash, like every beat, it's like the colors like switch. Yeah. The ground and the sky and the cows, they switch colors. And it's really colorful and really fun. And it's actually a pretty damn catchy song.
Yeah. It's not amazing.
Yeah.
And there really is no means for it to be, but it is fun.
And it's a unique way to have the villain do his evil bidding, is that he yodels.
Yeah, that's a great gimmick, honestly. It's like the fact that he's yodeling, and it's really good yodeling. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I don't really like yodeling, but it's honestly, it's funny because he's, one, a villain. Second, he really adores yodeling. And third, it's just really inventive how this all comes into play.
Yeah.
So it really all fits together.
Yeah.
So anyway, he gets away with the cattle, and he's being chased by Rico by the end of this song, and you basically see like him, foiling all the plot.
Yeah.
And
but also it's now you get to the point where
now you find out
Jennifer Tilly's tone deafness makes it so she she cannot be hypnotized by Slim's song.
She's the only one not affected.
Yeah.
So then we see that Buck, who the horse at the time is like always around, whenever he's with the cows, he's always like berating them and going nuts. And then Rico says like, "You guys got another horse?
This guy's skittish around cows."
Yeah. And yeah, it's like you get the motivation for all the characters again. It's like one thing after the other, with this movie. It's like something will happen, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe if I get the bounty, then Rico will be my horse again. Well, if we get the bounty, then we'll get the farm.
So there's
again.
This great little like, okay, Buck has his story, and then like, what is Rico doing? He's mysterious. You don't know what he's doing, but the cows are going this way, and now there's this. It starts as like we gotta, catch Slim, but now there's we got to catch Slim before Buck does.
Yeah, and you also get like the motivations behind each cow. It's like the other two are just kind of following along, and Maggie is just kind of like she wants it because she lost the home.
And also Miss Calloway is the one she's usually the one in control, and now there's this brash cow dragging her on.
And
this
and that's
adventure.
really shown in this next scene, because it's like the rain comes down, and this is another big Western thing where it's like there's a flash flood, and all of a sudden the desert is like overflowed with water, and you know the cows are, you know, they have to get out of the water, and they have this fight, and
there's a confrontation.
You get the confrontation with each other. And all the while, also Buck has not been really helpful at all.
Yeah, he's still trying to look for, you know.
And but that moment with the characters where they all fight, it's like you understand that their motivations are like Maggie's is not really that pure.
Yeah, she has a personal vendetta because you know Slim took her farm.
Yeah, and while I wish they kind of explored that a little bit more, because that confrontation is just. I feel like it's just like a little slapped on at that point.
Yeah, I mean, if they went a little more into it, it might. But there is that moment where like Miss Calloway, the Judi Dench,
but you do get it.
Yeah, she's like, you have your own vendetta. You dragged us into this whole thing because you have this personal feeling towards Slim. We just want to save our farm. You're dragging us on this thing, and we're not any closer.
Yeah.
In fact,
and that's where they say it's like, oh, we're gonna part ways.
Yeah.
But the next morning, we're met up with Lucky Jack again, who is
this wonderful character. I love this character, and the thing that I love about it is that he is Lucky Jack, but he's unlucky. Because he doesn't have his lucky rabbit.
He has a peg leg.
He has a peg leg, and so he just has horrible bad luck.
Yeah, I almost feel like maybe they wanted to make him a jackalope, but that probably wouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, it would have been interesting.
Well, actually, that goes. Speaking of, I don't want to digress, but I will anyway. You were telling me that this movie before had a very different theme to it in the beginning of it.
Yeah, it was originally a movie called Sweating Bullets, and it was a different movie, and it still had the cattle rustling idea, and there's these characters we mentioned before. There's these characters called the Willies.
Oh, well, we haven't gotten
to them, but they originally the Willies were these ghost cowboys. They were these riding ghost skeletons, and they were called the Willies because they gave you the Willies because they were ghosts. And it was some cool. I mean, I don't know, because there's not enough information out there to be like, oh, this is what the movie was about.
Right.
So like, all you know is that Sweating Bullets was about either a boy who wanted to, because I heard it was either a boy who wanted to be a cowboy and he leaves home to become a cowboy, and then he gets roped into this whole. Now he's in the middle of this whole cattle rustling thing, and he's got to save the cows.
And then we also kind of got some glimpses of like the Pied Piper element to it, which is the yodeling.
Yeah, they get that in the movie.
They got that. Yeah, and what was it?
It was originally a calf.
Yeah, so there was going to be like I think there was a more darker element to it.
It seemed like a darker movie,
right?
This was it became more
which would have been neat, and I think like. I feel like they wanted to keep the supernatural element to it, but the way that the movie was going, I think they couldn't really. They either go one way or the other, and honestly, I'm glad that they didn't go that way because this really does fit. It would have been neat if there was a supernatural element to it because there's a lot of that Western.
Legends
and
stuff
and things. Yeah, like Ghost Riders
towns.
in the Sky.
Yeah.
That song is actually in there a few times in the score. You can hear it's like dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
yeah, and which is cool. I'm glad that they stuck to what they went with. That was really. It was helpful. It wasn't detrimental to
right.
it.
So you have Lucky Jack, and then you see that every character here has been somehow affected by Slim. Like Maggie's farm was taken.
Jack was kicked out.
Kicked out of his home, which is a mine, which is where the hideout of Slim and the Willies, and where he keeps all these rustled cows.
So they basically find out that that's where he is, and Jack will lead them to it.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to Slim and the Willies because there's a moment where
there's a great scene with
there's a scene where he's basically talking to the Willies, who are his posse, and he shows off his plan as like, I'm rusting all the cattle, I'm selling them off to someone else, and I'm getting the money to buy off land because I want to make I just want to like
plot exposition needs to go somewhere. No.
Yeah. but he basically shows off his plan, and the world did not realize my talent, which was yodeling, and the Willies was like, don't you mean they didn't like your singing?
Yeah, and there's a great little character moment between him and the Willies, and then there's one Willie who's sitting on a couch and he gets swung at, and right behind him is a giant map where he has this. It's a wonderful gag.
It's a Willie shaped.
It's a Willie head shaped where Patch of Heaven is just a Willie shaped pile of land.
Yeah.
And Slim is like, you mean to tell me you've been sitting in that spot?
This is my comfy place.
And there's also this great gag of
those are great characters.
Yeah.
There's a great dynamic because it's like, it's the big villain and then his stupid companions,
lackeys.
his lackeys.
Yeah, his nephews. The three nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And then you have these Willie brothers.
Yeah.
And there's a great gag where, for just a little throwaway, it happens a couple times in the movie, but he puts on to Slim rustles these cattle and then buys the land once they run out of money.
Yeah.
And he puts on this Y. Odell. He's Mr. Y. Odell Yodel.
Mm-hmm.
Get it?
Yeah.
And the Willies don't recognize him when he puts just a hat and the glass.
What'd you do with Uncle Slim? Put up your duke.
And they're literally, he's right in front of him, and he'll put on the hat and the glass. They're like, oh, who are you?
Yeah.
Which they're so dim-witted, and,
and
it's just great seeing
it's hilarious. I just love that. I don't know. It's just, there's something funny about stupid characters.
But my favorite thing about the stupid characters is what makes that funnier is watching the person who's in control, the leader, the villain, just
the
frustrated.
Straight man. He's basically the straight man. There's some great little back and forth moments with the Willies and Slim, but there's one where he's counting money while they're counting, and there's a great moment where just like Slim lost count. He's just like, oh, he just realizes what the hell he's doing.
You dumb, and
now I gotta count all over again.
It's great. I love just the interaction between because the villain is a very interesting character. Most movies is usually the most interesting character, but there's a lot of interesting characters in this movie.
Yeah,
but it's great seeing Slim with these Willies backing him up. That's it's a great little posse right there.
And they find his base, and they basically find out there's a train being led by this little guy. He's a Weasley guy. His
named Wesley.
Wesley,
but he mispronounced it as Weasley.
Weasley,
and he's pretty much Steve Buscemi playing a self-caricature of himself.
Which was, when I saw that in the theater, that was awesome because I didn't know that he was in it. And realizing that was Steve Buscemi, I was like, "Oh man, that's awesome!"
He looks exactly. I mean, the baggy eyes and everything.
It's a great caricature.
And he's pale faced,
and he really adds to it because it's that
Come on, let's gotta get to going.
That's how he gets the money because this guy is paying him for the cattle, and then he uses the money to buy off land.
Yeah.
So. That explains that.
His connection.
Yes, his connection.
This is the equivalent of drug trafficking.
Since Grace realizes that she's tone deaf to his yodels, she basically puts cotton in their ears and kind of tricks Slim into yodeling because they're the only 3 cows that are up there, and basically like baiting him up so that they can trick him into, going into like a mine cart.
And they have this great mine chase.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we forgot before that, the buffalo.
Oh, there's this great.
That's his. That's Slim's.
Slim, instead of riding a horse, Slim rides this big buffalo named Junior. And there's a scene where when the cows are entering the mine, there's this great.
We see Buck. It's like he's like arguing with this, like the.
It's like a bouncer at a club, and he's like, "Cows only." And there's this great.
And the cows come up, and it's like, "Hello, ladies, come right on in."
Yeah, and it's great. There's a little character moment with this buffalo, and then now they get this. They go inside. They catch Slim, and then there's this great where Buck has the mine card, and then the cows get it, and there's this great back.
Oh, that's a great mine card. Yeah,
and there are great. Set
and the
pieces
Willies are chasing them. I was like, Uncle Slim, Uncle. That's a great run cycle. Just like the hands.
Yeah, it almost looks 3D CG the way they handle it. It's really great.
And
but throughout this entire movie, there's great little set piece moments. There's the flood, and there's the bar brawl, and then you have this really great mine chase.
They utilize the CG elements of the background to to help with, like, especially with the minecart, you get to see like them moving around these backgrounds that are very well painted. And
it would have been a pain in the ass to animate a minecart with sparks and all that stuff.
Yeah. When we read it up, it was CAPS, this computer system that they would use.
CAPS was a system that they used as a pipeline. Like now there's like Toon Boom Harmony, which is now like the equivalent of that. But at the time, it was an easy way to paint because they didn't have to use cells anymore, so they'd use the painting.
Because didn't they use that on the carpet for Aladdin?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know the whole logistics of the CAPS program.
Because I know that when I would see the making of a lot of these movies, like from Beauty and the Beast from onward, they would talk about this CAPS system, and they would talk about, you know, like the buffalo that would be in The Lion King, how they had to animate that, like tons of different buffalo coming in.
I don't know if that was CAPS.
Do you think?
I think it was just.
I thought it was
CG. They probably CG with a crowd. I mean, because they used a similar kind of thing in this movie with these. They made a bunch of CG cattle,
right? Because
they had a lot of cattle. But I think it's the CAPS. I don't know.
I really need to look back at a lot of how they did a lot of the effects for these certain movies, because I do remember that it was a big deal that they were actually able to utilize the computer system to help with background elements and elements where special effects would need a ton of different like the buffalo in Lion King.
The thing about the CAPS system is that now that they didn't have to shoot on film anymore under a camera, they can digitally have as many layers as they wanted. So you get these very great depth of field and like with multiplane, but with infinite planes if they wanted to. Great, it's a camera system and a digital coloring system. They had like a lot of moments where they would crane in the camera
and swoop down there was a lot of like, and there was also camera rotations that were very it made it really.
It's kind of like what they did in Tarzan, where they painted and then wrapped it around CG trees, so it has that.
When they went through the vines and everything.
Right, so there's moments like that in this movie where they're in these mine trains, or when you're going through even like a chasm or whatever.
I think that was really great. They were beautiful shots.
Yeah.
So going back, now that the minecart, the whole minecart thing is like they all crash against each other, and basically, we find out that Rico has been working with Slim
the whole time,
and Buck the horse realizes,
he's been working with the bad guy.
I've been working with the bad guy. I've been wanting to, I looked up to this guy as a hero the whole time, and Slim also says like, I want to meet you up with the guy that's been hiding my trails this entire time, Rico. And then it's I always give flack, especially to animated movies, about the villain who like revels in this evilness.
Yeah.
Well, there's that moment where he says like, see how it's like on the other side of the law, and he pats his side, and it's like,
do you need to say that?
No, you don't really need to say that. You should just basically say like, we're gonna make a living off of our,
it's good to be bad.
Yeah.
Even something like that.
It's good to be
bad. But either way, it convinces Buck to save the cows. And
well, yeah, it really shows that Buck has realized that, oh crap, that
what have I done?
What have I done? I've done something bad, and he saves the day. He saves the cows that are going to be rustled away. And that's a really good moment where they're fighting off the Willies and Weasley. And Slim's already off. He's going to go to the auction for the
Patch of
Heaven. And that's the moment where they say that, what are we going to do? How are we going to save? Like, well, we'll use the train. And you were saying that moment where Miss Calloway is...
there's always a moment in these movies where it's like, how are we going to get him? How? I'll tell you how. The same way we went through that thing.
The motivational speech.
Did the motivational speech.
Yeah.
And usually when I hear that, I'm like, oh,
yeah. It's another one of those where like,
I do the motion of like the little turning fingers, like, come on,
Yeah.
But either way, they get on the train.
It's to hammer in the fact that Miss Calloway has realized that she's, this is a dire situation, and now we have to basically
We've come this far.
I realize that Maggie has is really onto something. Let's do this. I'm with you all the way. That's just there to hammer in that thing. So the cows take they take the train all the way to where the Patch of Heaven is, because thankfully the train is like
runs directly next to Patch of Heaven.
Yeah, and I haven't looked back on that. I don't know if they had the tracks near the Patch of Heaven.
They showed an establishing shot, and they have the train passing by.
Oh, they do.
So they do have it, but I think the tracks
then I
are
missed
farther
that.
away. Yeah, but it's
that would have been like a really big oversight if they didn't have that in the beginning. But
Well, it's a good thing they built a train line right next to Patch of Heaven in the last couple days. Otherwise,
what you doing, Uncle Slim?
I don't know. But either way, they catch up.
They
to Slim
while it's being auctioned off, and the cows basically crash into the farm, but it's basically to stop the auction, and so funny that they have like a standoff with the cow and Slim, and it. Just to hammer in the fact that it's more of a Western.
It's like a Western standoff. Yeah,
it's a Western standoff.
It's cool. It's a cool visual.
And it's funny. It's like before. It's like Slim's like I could have swear these cows have it in for me.
and the thing. There's a moment where he says no, and he sees, and then you pan back and you see Maggie step into frame.
Yeah,
and you see her udders waddling, but they didn't need to. But they put that sound effect, just that little jiggly wet water balloon, and you're just like Oh yeah,
the wet water balloon.
But and you're just but it was great. They have a fight, and the animals all join in and catch Slim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they all like beat up on him, and there's that the
one visual joke that I'm just sort of like,
Yeah. Well, it is pretty dated because I remember that was a big thing. The whole Matrix slow-mo,
with bullet time,
and Grace is the one to like.
She like
it's
Bruce
a cow.
Lee.
It's a cow kicking a cowbell into the mouth of Slim in this slow motion Matrix style, and it's a pretty dated reference by now. But at the time, it was like, well, I mean, even then, I'm sure it was pretty dated. No, but. It's a pretty weird moment, but at the same time, it's like they save the day. They find out that it's Slim, and the sheriff basically, says that, oh, you've won the $750 to save the land.
3 cows save the day.
Yeah,
so instead of giving them the money, we're going to give you the money.
Yeah. Well, you own the cows. So
yeah. So the farm is saved, and then everyone's happy.
But the cows eat the money.
Would it be great if the movie just ends like you just see Maggie's like, what? And then it just cuts the credits.
Right.
No one is safe.
No one is safe. No one is safe from Roseanne Cow.
From Maggie's insatiable appetite for green leafy things.
Oh, yeah.
But so everyone's happy, and there's a great little moment where everybody, even those creepy pedophilic like cows, not pedophilic, but these creepy like, well, I'm gonna pick you up.
Right. These were the cows that were like throughout the movie. It's basically they say that bulls are very, it's like they see a cow and it's like, oh, dairy cows. Ooh. Yeah, they get all horny and oh god, oh god. I just realized that like only a split second after I said it. But seriously, that's what they are. They're horny cows.
You don't understand how much it hurt to hear that.
They are.
Well, yeah, they see
the cows when they come by, and it's basically like they're catcalling.
Yeah, the creepy guys who try to pick up girls. Like, you're one of them independent cows. Why don't you and me go somewhere and be independent together?
Yeah. It's like giving the one-liners,
the bad pickup,
and the 3 are just like, oh god, get away from this. It's like I honestly want. I want to get like a woman's perspective on that scene, just like how they think about that, because like I remember talking to I can't remember who I talked to, but someone was basically discussing to me why they liked Johnny Bravo. It was like why women liked Johnny Bravo. It's because Johnny Bravo is this guy that they always meet, who always gives like the one-liners and the pickup lines, but it's great to see them get hit.
Yeah,
because it's like they
get their comeuppance.
Yeah, they get the comeuppance for being an idiot.
Being a horn dog.
Mm-hmm.
Which
and I feel like that's the same with this.
Yeah.
It's like they get their comeuppance. They're just, well, they don't really get their comeuppance.
No, because they come back to the farm at the end, and then they're dancing.
Yeah, and
like,
they're dancing with each other.
I guess we'll settle.
But
with
the
these...
buffalo gets also is like,
yeah, and
Joker's wild.
The Joker's. There's a really weird line about.
Yeah, that's
there's 3 queens and 2 kings, and the Joker's wild. Oh yeah. And you're like, well, I mean, it's funny because you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where everything comes together, but at the same time, it's like that's pretty creepy.
But there isn't a moment there. No. Thankfully, there isn't a moment where you're like, well, because even
pedophilic cows.
I didn't mean to say that.
I know. Like, how old do you think the cows are?
I don't know why, but I think I automatically just assumed I lump pedophilic with just creepy.
I understand what you thought. It was
nature.
like they're creepy cows that are like catcalling. You know, the creepy bulls, I should say, that are catcalling cows. Yeah. Oh God.
Either way.
But
but the movie ends on a happy note.
And
that's the movie, and it's a very, like we said, it's a cute, fun, self-enclosed little movie. It's just
and really, I think we wanted to talk about this movie just because of the clarification of that this movie doesn't. It's great for itself for what it is, and it doesn't need to be this extravagant.
Epic. It doesn't have to be an epic movie.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be Beauty and the Beast. It doesn't have to be Lion King. It is just itself, and it's unfortunate when the time it came out that there was such a high bar that it had to reach up to.
Yeah, and another thing about it is that if this movie, I mean, because Disney at the time was like, well, I mean, Treasure Planet, that didn't do well, but Ice Age, woo, that made lots of money. It's like, no,
and Ice Age wasn't really that epic.
If this movie was, if Home on the Range was animated with the computer.
Maybe
it wouldn't have been any different. I mean,
no, I don't think it would have been any different.
It doesn't, and it's I mean, that was the feelings of the time.
I honestly think the style works for what it is, and I honestly, my own personal feeling about it is that it looks wonderful.
The style.
I love the style of it, and I've always said to myself ever since I saw the movie, I love the look of this movie, and I want to see something else made like this because for some reason CG can't really capture that same look. I mean, they can try, and we've definitely seen it in The Incredibles, and so. I would say The Incredibles is probably the closest to what I would think would be a stylish look on human features, like a caricature. And while that's great, it still is far too different from a traditional animated style. In which, like, there is so much that you can do with it. And
the line is finally after. I mean, this movie is just over 10 years old.
Yeah.
And the line and CG has improved to the point where that line is blurring.
Yeah.
Where you can have now graphic.
Oh yeah. It has shown that CG has kind of grown to that way where it's like if they really do something with it, they can really get that kind of feeling back.
Yeah.
And I don't know how difficult it is or how much it would cost or anything, because it certainly seems like there would be a lot of effort involved into it.
Yeah.
Especially considering the roots of CG and everything. But in this movie, it's just you could tell that the animators had so much fun, so much freedom, and so much
it's
everything
a very
about
graphic kind of loose movie.
Yeah, and I can't stand the fact that there are people who think that this movie was lazy because it does not show it all. There is no laziness to this. If there's any, I think it just all stems from the fact that it is not like the movies before it. It is just a funny, cartoony movie.
Yeah.
And that is no detriment to it. It is like the story is really good. The characters are cute.
Great cast.
Great casting, yeah. I mean, there are some great voice talent in this.
A lot of television actors.
Except
for, I think,
when we looked it up.
Yeah. But another thing, speaking of cast, is that the thing I love about these 2D movies is that there is a cast of animators, and they're all like each of them has a character.
Yeah,
And
certainly.
so you see a really great we have. Mark Henn does a great share of a lot of the characters, and you get
Bruce Smith.
Bruce Smith, who does Pearl, the
Pearl, yeah, and you can honestly, when that was mentioned to me, I could see that because it's a very it's a character that looks kind of like a Proud Family sort of caricature style to it, and it's the animation on her is wonderful.
And there's some animators, and the great thing is I love watching a movie. That's why when I saw the recent Winnie the Pooh movie when it came out a few years ago.
Yeah,
it's great because you see these animators shine again, because it's great seeing their little touches, how they animate. So you look at someone like Duncan Majorbanks, or I think it's Majorbanks. He did Mrs. Calloway.
Yes.
And you see that his characters, he always animates a lot of
the
lower jaw, the teeth. And you see a lot
the
of
lower
Miss Calloway.
teeth.
She talks and she's dignified. It looks very much like Radcliffe from Pocahontas.
It's very fitting.
And there's some great animation. Russ Edmonds did a great share of characters. The Willies and Rico.
Yeah. Sean Keller.
Sean
Keller is all over this movie.
Oh,
there's like there are background characters that I swear that he probably just wanted to volunteer for because it certainly has that look.
But he does mostly Lucky Jack.
Mostly Lucky Jack.
The loosest, most fun animation in the movie. You have Michael Surrey did Buck. The thing I noticed too is that this movie, Disney has a trend, at least in the last 10, 15 years, where they have two directors. Except for, I think the last movie that had only one director was maybe Wreck-It Ralph, and that was Rich Moore. But this movie has John Sanford and Will Finn, both story guys and animators.
Yeah.
And they're coder, and there's a lot of, every movie after that has a two director team. Like you have Lilo and Stitch, which is Chris Sanders and Dean DeBlois.
Yeah.
And then you
have...
I
think that's like that's.
But I wonder.
That has always been like a tradition, has it? Or
well, I mean, Disney used to have 3 or 4.
Wow, really?
Like they used to, like in the old movies, you see like director because they would direct sequences in a big movie. They usually have one person kind of wrangling it together, but they usually have multiple ones directing. But you look at like usually in an animated film, like in the case of like DreamWorks movies, it's usually one director for every movie.
Yeah.
Not 2 directors. Disney, I don't, because the thing is, I would love to know if by having 2 directors, does it create friction that is creative friction? Does it take a brunt of the time away?
Right.
Like, is there someone who's focusing more on one side of it and the other? Is there a good checks and balances?
I almost want to say like there's different, they have 2 different directors to focus on one element of it, and then another director to focus on the other elements of it.
But they both have to look at the movie as a whole. And
right, exactly. So they have to meet together and come to an understanding.
Yeah.
So because I want to know myself if that's better or worse than having just one director, because when you have just one director, it's like it's just one vision. Yeah. But when you have 2 directors, it's like 2 people trying to come to terms for one vision.
Yeah.
And while that's can be pretty helpful. I mean, when you have like a group of people like going back and forth through ideas, it is really helpful because one person would think of something that you didn't.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But I would love to just talk about it to someone who might know why.
Right.
That was a thing. So and who knows? Maybe in the future we'll have a special guest to talk about it.
But going back to animators,
I'm not hinting. I'm just saying like
it would be cool.
It would be nice.
Yeah. But going back to animators briefly, I forgot to mention Dale Baer, who does Slim in the movie, and he's one of my favorite animators.
Yeah.
He's been working at Disney since like before Robin Hood.
Wow.
And he's so good. He did Yzma in New Groove. And you see a lot of that.
Villain.
A lot of that in Slim. You see a lot of his acting.
I can see
choices.
that.
You could tell that there's a lot of when
very
get
cartoony
angry.
villain.
Yeah, and
I love that.
But it's so dimensional.
That's. I don't know. That's amazing. We're probably forgetting a lot of names of animators who are on this. There's so many. I mean, we would love to give them their own share spotlight,
but it would be
at the same
list is so long because I mean these movies.
But I would like to say that I for one, and Mike, you as well, we understand that this movie probably had, while it was probably a difficult time, we understand that there was a lot of love put into it.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely, it's absolutely seen. When we watch it, we can see ourselves that this movie has a lot of care to it.
People really should give this movie more of a chance, because people shot it down just because it was what it was.
Yeah.
And you look at the credits of this movie, it's hundreds of people on this movie.
Yeah.
People say, oh, it's lazy.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people are putting, 4 years into making a movie?
Yeah.
It takes 4 years to make one of these 2D animated movies.
And it's
There's
unfortunate.
no laziness in that.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate all the things that happened up to that point.
Yeah, and then after.
And because like when I look at the box office numbers, it's like it costs like $110 million to make, and it only made half of that back in the box office.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, and it's probably because of, poor reviews and stuff like that. And it's and
because I don't remember the marketing being so heavy.
Well, I remember it being pretty heavy just because I had the Disney Channel still.
Yeah.
And
well, they used to promote everything on the Disney Channel.
Oh, yeah.
Now they barely promote stuff on their networks.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's also a thing. It's like marketing is also a big thing.
Did you see any toys from this movie?
No, I don't remember any toys.
Not even McDonald's. Like no. Well, I mean,
that's right. Every Disney movie had basically.
But like you're gonna be eating cheeseburgers. You don't want to eat a cow.
Oh, that's right.
Probably. That's probably
right.
Why. Chicken nuggets with the chickens. Oh shit. What about? Oh no, you can't eat that.
I could have had one for KFC.
But I don't remember. Were there any toys?
Oh wait, who would want to eat a chicken?
Yeah. But
the chicken.
Were there any toys? Maybe I don't remember. There might have been maybe like
a
Lucky Jack plush or something.
There might have been a couple like at Disneyland or something like that. Like at the Disney store, there probably was a plush for.
Yeah,
like,
but I wouldn't be
Maggie
surprised if they're like. I don't think there were any walk-around characters of the cows. It's always weird seeing four-legged characters.
Well, I do remember at Disneyland at the time, the only place that actually had anything was that ranch in the back behind the
Big Thunder Mountain
Railroad.
Yeah,
they had a home on the range thing, but nobody goes back there. Sadly,
it's a dead end over there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Now we're just getting sad.
No.
No, we should probably move on to something happier. Is there anything else we should discuss about this movie?
I think we've pretty much covered all the bases. So, because my final consensus is that this movie, I think it got way too much criticism for what it is, just because of all the things before it, and I don't think that's fair.
It's not fair to it.
So, really, when you really watch this movie, and I do suggest that people go out to watch this movie just to get their own experience, don't think of it as a movie that will be like a huge hit like Beauty and the Beast or anything. This is still a beautifully made movie, and it has a really nice story, really great characters,
great design and art direction,
and it should be viewed as such. And for that, it should be viewed as its own movie. It shouldn't be compared to anything else. And that's really the sad thing about a lot of movies now, is that we compare them too much to other movies. It's like when we watch the next Pixar movie, we think like, oh, is this going to be as good as the one before it? And that really hurts it. And I really think that's probably a big hit with critics as well, because it's... I know that there's a level of standard that we all have, but we should also understand that not everything has to be super extravagant. And I think that's what we should come to terms with. And
I think the only true comparison, any reason why you could compare two movies like that, is if it's like a direct sequel from the first movie. That's the only time I think it makes sense to compare to the first movie. Mm-hmm. Is that because you're continuing something like, oh, I love this movie. I hope it's as good. I hope this movie's as good as the other one.
And I think that's actually a more fair assessment than anything.
But this movie is it's not. People say it's baby. There's nothing babyish about it. There's nothing childish about it.
There are elements that are babyish, but it's not the focus of the entire movie. It does have a very strong.
But even the term babyish isn't. It's not a constructive reason.
No,
because it's not like they're jingling keys in front of you. It's really like
not like Minions.
That'll be a subject.
That is dangling the keys in front of kids.
That'll be a subject for another day.
Oh God, we might have to talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
All right.
But
well, yeah, that's our that is our consensus of Home on the Range.
Yeah.
I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. We're at our 4th episode. Yay!
Not even an even number. Like we're not even at 5, a solid divisible number.
I'm honestly going to be thankful every episode that we finish, just because. You know, I mean, I really love talking about stuff like this with you, and I really hope people out there enjoyed as well. So if you do, please, we're on iTunes and on Stitcher, and we would really appreciate it if you would just go to our section on the website and give us a good rating if you can, and just give us a reasonably good review about what you've heard.
A nice constructive.
A nice constructive.
We strive for constructive criticism.
Yeah.
We live on it. Constructive criticism.
And honestly, it really helps the show because it gets the word out more about what we are and what we do, and it would get more listeners because there's a lot of people out there who just search for podcasts, and if ours pops up with their interests, then that would really help us because it would get more listeners and it will also get people to talk about us, and we'll do more of this.
Yeah, and another thing too, it's great hearing stories from listeners telling their opinions, and we'd love to hear what you think.
Oh yeah, no,
please, even if you send an email, because Andrew, you'll give your email
certainly, and
just send. We'd love to hear what you thought of what you think of the movie, what you think of what we're doing.
Yeah, I am going to be opening up a Facebook page at some point. I will probably announce it next podcast because I'm going to be setting this up, but this will be a great place for the community, for the listeners to come in and voice their thoughts on the movies that we talk about and the movies that we're going to talk about. So if you can, please feel free to write in, and we'll even talk about it on the show. If you have questions for us, we'll be happy enough to answer about them.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, please write to us. My email is awd300@gmail.com. I will also put a link to on the description. And we are also on Twitter. I am at AWDTwit, and
I'm at a guy who draws.
Yep. All right. So
and next week.
Oh yes.
Our next movie is
week.
Going to be Osmosis Jones.
Mm-hmm. This is a movie that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now.
Yeah.
And well, Mike, you know why, but we'll save that for discussion because this is just one of those movies that I can't get it out of my mind. It's one of those things where it's like every little mention a day, it just immediately goes to Osmosis Jones, and I can't stop thinking about it.
You have to tell that story when we do that
certainly.
show.
So you'll get to hear that story next time on the 5th episode of Animated Anarchy. And thank you so much for listening in. Please, if you like this show, please tell your friends who are maybe interested in animated movies or animation discussion, and that would help get the ball rolling, and we can get more listeners, and we can do more shows.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I am Andrew Dickman,
and I'm Mike Ruocco.
This has been Animated Anarchy. We will see you next time.
See you around. Boobs.
Udders.
I've got 4 of them.
Oh,
all around. Aces wild. Joker's wild.
Cow nipples.
Cow nipples. Aye. Oh, the cow nipples.
You know what? You know what I thought about, like when we were talking about that kick from that Grace does.
The Matrixy kick.
Yeah, the Matrix kick. Didn't Kung Pao do that before the movie, or did that come after it?
Oh shit! There was a drop kicking cow in that movie too.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
that was very earthy.
I don't know. But I do remember that there was a scene where it was very Matrixy, and the cow was like hitting the udders, and the milk would come in through like bullets or something like that. But yeah. there was a kung fu cow in that movie. You know, it's so funny. It's like Kung Pao has been coming up in conversation more often than it really
I
should.
think they're doing another one.
Oh, is that why?
I think I heard that they might do another one.
Oh, maybe that's why it keeps coming up. Because so many people have been asking me, have you seen Kung Pao? And I was like, yeah, I thought it was an all right movie. I didn't think it was great, but yeah, it certainly is one of those cult classics, isn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't the guy who produced Jimmy Neutron make
Bob
that?
Odenkirk?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we got to talk about that movie too.
And The Barnyard, another cow movie. There's a cow theme going on, isn't there?
Oh,
what is going on here?
It's the Cowboys of Moo Mesa episode.
Oh my God, we're gonna have to talk about a Cowboys of Moo
But the thing is,
Mesa.
I've never seen Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
You haven't?
No, I saw like a clip of it
I think
one day.
I honestly think it's a great show.
I've never seen it.
Okay, we're gonna have to sit down at some point and just watch Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
I was supposed to do a voice for
Oh
a
wait,
friend's
did I
film.
forget my? I'll get my thing.
Notepad.
Yeah, my thing.
The thing.
I need to have.
I need the thing. See, I need it.
Or else I won't forget what I.
Yeah, I'm supposed to do a Joe Cocker voice for a friend's film.
Yeah.
So I was in the car in New York going, lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song.
Oh jeez.
I'll try not to sing out of key, yeah. Oh, I need someone. Well, I had like melisma. Like I said, remember the first show we did? And I was talking about melisma.
Get a job? Was my dad really serious?
Yeah, get a job. Was he serious?
Little did I realize that we would be closer than we'd ever. Bart! What are you staring at?
Nothing. What more are you looking for? No.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that
The electro swing.
the the electro swing. Well, those were cool too. But I mean, the new electrical parade at Disneyland was just fantastic.
They have a giant Mack truck.
They do, but it's great.
It looks cool?
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Do they have the giant genie there?
They do have a genie, but he's like kind of like a puppet. And
because I saw the one in Tokyo. They have the Tokyo one, and it's really.
Oh, that one was great, but that was like for the original.
Of course, the kitty comes in and loves to be like, "I'm gonna knock into your microphone, so you're gonna hear this."
But no, they had Tigger, they had the genie, and they had
They had a giant Tigger.
Yeah, they had a Tigger, but he was the same. He was like a big puppet that was like walking around like with this guy controlling him on the bottom.
Did you see now that I saw like a patent? They're going to be having drone operated marionette things for the parades. Mm-hmm. They're literally going to be drones, so you can have like a giant Pumpkin King Jack Skellington walking down.
That's pretty
Main
cool.
Street. But until one of those drones go
sounds
flying into the crowd,
yeah,
it's going to cut up something awful.
Jack Skellington just like dive bombs over some sort of family.
I just want to see all of them just like they get just far enough out of range where they just all take off into the distance. Ever see that? Ever see like a plane?
The balloons, like someone like let go of like that huge pile of balloons and they just fly off into the
imagine
distance.
like, because I've seen it before where someone's like, I'm flying the plane, but it's like, don't fly too far. Oh, I'm sure it's fine. Oh shit, it's out of range. Just so you keep going. Just imagine.
Wait, they just keep going? They don't like stop?
No, like they'll just literally like if your last adjustment was to go higher.
Oh, so it gets stuck on that adjustment.
Get stuck and it'll just keep going into
that's
space.
Hilarious.
So imagine just like somewhere in like Santa Ana, someone like a kid's outside and just sees like Jack Skellington come like this out of the sky, chops up a bunch of birds in flight.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Oh, that would be great.